In this demo, we are going to work with your Illustrator designs, create a final presentation file in Illustrator, export for web, and create and upload a Behance project presentation. So the first step is you need to go to week 8, presentation, and download the files needed to put together your overall Illustrator document. The second step is to open Photoshop and to open Illustrator. Once you've opened Illustrator and Photoshop, go to your desktop or wherever you downloaded the files and make sure you take your Behance 2016 folder and place it with all of your 125 files, course files. So if we look in the folder here, we have a template and we have an iMac and an iPhone 6 PSD files. What we want to do is open the iMac and iPhone files, and then we also want to open the template file in Illustrator, and also you want to open your final source file for your designs. So we want to take a closer look at our template file. We have a background, we have text, we have iPhone PSD and a iMac PSD, and then we have our designs from our final file. What we need to do is work with the iPhone and the iMac PSDs first. We currently see that there's no design in place, and what we need to do is get our designs from our own design file into those PSDs. So the process is pretty simple. What we need to do to start for the desktop version is select our home page, and we need to group everything together, and we're going to copy. And then in Photoshop, we're going to select the wallpaper layer here. And when I double click that, what we'll get is a PSB file. And we're just going to paste in as a smart object our file. And a smart object allows us to scale without distorting or pixelating our file. So once you hit OK, we can scale this up. Again, holding Shift, make sure it doesn't distort. Try to get the best crop you possibly can for your design. The bigger the better. Again, this is just an overview. Once I save this, I can close the PSB, and then in my iMac, it will automatically update into the iMac file. We want to make sure that we save our iMac PSD file, and then when we jump over to Illustrator, it should kick up a message that we need to update the file. So hit yes, and it will update our image into the iMac file. Now if you happen not to get the update to come up, you can simply relink your image or update that link to make sure that it's connected properly so that it updates your image in the iMac. So now we're going to do the same process for the phone. We're going to come in here to our design file, select all of our mobile version, we're going to group it, we're going to copy, and then into PSD file, the iPhone 6, where it says place your design here, we're just going to double click this, and we're going to paste, again as a smart object, because we can scale the design up with no pixelation. Goal is to get the best crop you can for your phone. Try not to get any white lines, borders. So that looks pretty good. I'll save the PSB, close that. Make sure you save the iPhone 6. Then when I go over to Illustrator again, it'll ask if I need to modify, and that will update my iPhone version. So now we're going to be working primarily in Illustrator with the template file and also your final design file. We can see in this template that we have an overview graphic with the iMac and the phone, and also an initial description about what Pizza Lover is about, not necessarily what the project assignment was, but what the overall tone of the website is. Also the title. You can change this type and this content to match your project. So again, this typeface can be more in tune with what you've designed, but also the overall bio should be as well. The background graphic is pretty simple. It's just a clipping mask of the home page. Now you can do that a similar graphic, or you can make a new graphic that goes in the background of this overview. And then this is just a simple overlay. If you look on your effects, you can do multiply. The whole goal is just to screen back the image so it doesn't dominate, but gives an overall tone. So again, you can experiment with this in your design. In our template, we have a home, we have the mobile version, and then we have our sub pages or feature pages that we're going to be working with. Now this template will have to expand based on, or contract based on what designs you have, and I'll show you that through this demo. So the first thing I need to put in place is the home page. So very similar to working with the PSD, I'm going to group the whole page. I'm going to copy, and I'm going to paste that in place. The whole goal would be to come in and make sure that the gutters are equal on both sides for the design. Also, you can see that we have an arrow and a title for each page. This just makes it a little bit easier for the user while they're scrolling to have a little bit of space between each design you do, but also a simple indicator of what page we're actually looking at. Again, similar to the top part here with the type, it's just currently set in Helvetica. You can set this type to match what your design is. I would not scale that type up to be much larger than it is. Again, it's just to tell me what I'm looking at. It isn't necessarily a big design item. So I've pasted in my home page, and now we're going to move on to the mobile. And again, I'm going to group this, copy, Command C, Command V to paste. Similar, I can just kind of align it centered in the design. Now you'll see that our designs are a little bit different in scale. So your home page may be taller, and so you're going to just have to push down the mobile, and same where my mobile may be taller or shorter, I can push up the history or whatever subpage title you have next. For Pizza Lover, it's history, but you could have a different feature title in place. So I'm going to grab my history. I'm going to group that. Again, do the same process. I'm going to copy and then paste my history. This is a taller page. Again, just looking at the gutters, making sure the alignment works. So you may have to go back through and make sure everything's tweaked, similar heights and in the spacing, and making sure that it aligns center for your mobile. So again, this template's pretty much set up as a guide for you. You're going to have to edit and work with it. I'm just going to paste in another page. It's make your own. Again, this is just a second feature for the Pizza Lover. Yours could be any other second feature that you have. So for make your own, I'm going to select the entire layout. I'm going to group. I'm going to copy. And into the template, I'm going to paste. Again, it's the same process over and over. Just make sure that your gutters are set up and there's consistent spacing between the title. So as I continue, I can copy, make your own, paste, and the next design I'm going to be working with is location. So just come in here real quick. Change the title of the location. Select that layout, group it, copy, and paste. So once I have all my designs in place, what we want to do is make sure we edit the artboard. So you can see we have a lot of extra negative space in the artboard. So just come to Document Setup, Edit Artboards. We'll start with the second one first. Just going to pull that up and then select the second one and pull that up in the space as well. So now that we have our whole template put together for our presentation, the next step is to export. And we can just put it in the images folder. And we want to use artboards and say all. And we want to make sure that we save as JPEG files because those are compressed for web. Once we hit export, we want to make sure that it's in RGB, set at 10 maximum, baseline, and 72 screen. This is made for the web. And also make sure that our files compress because with Behance, the largest file we can have is 5 megabytes. So once I hit OK, it will export our files. And now if we look at our template 1 and our template 2, we can see that each file is 4 megabytes apiece. So if yours happens to be over 5, what you can do to make that work is, again, go back to export. Let's say that it's the second page that I have issues with size-wise. I can just hit 2, and you could just write V2 or V3 or page 3, whatever you want to title it, just so you know that that's the one you need to make a variation of. You can change the quality, and this will help downgrade the size so that you can have an uploadable file. And you would go through the same process. You just hit OK, and it'll make a new version of that file for you. And you can see that this time when I edit the size, it goes from 4.1 to 1.9. So again, if you get too large of a file, play with that export setting to get it to work. So our final step is to create a project file on Behance. So the first thing you need to do is, if you currently do not have a profile set up, go back to week 7 design, and there's a link for sign up for a Behance portfolio. This is free through Ringling, and I think it's free overall. So it's really easy to set up a project. All we have to do is go to add work, and we're going to add a project. And you just upload files. So again, your images should be in your Behance 2016. And we're just going to upload our template 1, 2, 3, just depends on how many JPEGs you've created. I'm just going to hit open. And it'll take a moment or two for the file to upload. But you can kind of scroll through and see how the order is working. So once the files have uploaded, you should be able to scroll through and see your overall presentation. It's a couple key things you need to know how to tweak in case you make updates at the last minute or you don't like the current order of the project. If you just simply roll over the blue edit icon, you can reorder your files, or if you've made a tweak to your actual design, you can simply replace the one that you're currently rolling over. The other thing that we need to tweak is the fact that this design does not go full screen, and that's pretty easy if we just do make image full width, and we'll want to make sure that you do that on each image that you have. So this second one, I want to do the same thing. So you have to do that for each image. So you can see that currently it's still not a full bleed design. And that's specifically up here at the top, there's this gap that's happening, and that will show up in your overall design. So in the dividers and spacing, you can see here that they have a header of 50 and a spacing of 60. What we want to do is make sure we get rid of that. And once we do that, our designs will go full bleed and full center, and there won't be any weird spacing issues. So once we have that, we can continue. We can save it and preview it. And you can see in preview mode. And once we hit continue, you can upload an image, and this is usually your card that you see when you're scrolling through a big feed of projects on Behance. So you can either make this image custom to what you want to show, or you can simply upload a file to work with. So I'm just going to upload our template from before. And you can drag the crop to any section. And we get an image like this, and we're just going to call it Pizza Lover. And like I said, if you don't like the crop, you can make a custom image to that size. I'm just going to hit continue. This will be your title, obviously. So once that saves, and sometimes as you can see it takes a little bit of time, you can come in and select creative fields. Again, you're just giving a bunch of details about your project. So under creative fields, this project could be considered, for some of you, editorial design, graphic design, interaction design, information architecture. Obviously you can only select 3 items. So again, make sure that you pick the most appropriate tags, maybe UI, UX. Click done. Also could say responsive design. as a project tag. These are more descriptions, more descriptive tags specifically to your project. So this could be if you had a site about rats or race cars, you could do tags specific to those as well. The description here could be similar to what was on the main image, the header graphic that you had on the design. So again, you would type in the overall description. And one of the last steps is to make sure that you co-own the project with the graphic design department. What you need to type in is graphic design major, and it will bring up this blue graphic to share, and you would just hit done and then publish your project. So once you've published your project, you'll want to go to Profile, and in your profile you'll have a feed of all your projects, and what you just published should show up in that feed. One of the really cool things about working with Behance is, one, you can follow the graphic design department and the advertising design department, but also you can start to look at what some of the other students in both departments are doing and also follow them. It's a great opportunity to just see a lot of really good work and what's going on. Thank you for taking the time to work with this demo.